Welcome everyone to our Life Force Canada Monday connection call. I am Karen of the family Klassen. I am still glowing from the Sovereign weekend. Sovereign living. So
Yes.
many people showed up. It was so fantastic. Eh, Laura Jane?
Yes, it was beautiful. All those lovely free souls. Loved it.
Yes, yes. So at final count, we had 78 show up for the weekend. It was so incredible. And we are so
From
thrilled.
across Canada too. Yeah.
Yes, and we had people from Russia and Nicaragua, Montana.
Ontario, BC, Nova Scotia. And I got
Karen,
home and look what I have.
oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
received it.
Yeah, I got my sweatshirt.
Oh, that's fantastic, Laura Jane.
Yeah.
Wow. So Karen Hannah, I'd love to hear your beautiful words in regards to your experience on the weekends. Karen came all the way from Manitoba.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a delightful weekend. Wonderful to put a lot of faces to the names that we see on Zoom every week and on our in our classes and workshops and that sort of thing. So Karen and Laura Jane did an amazing job, and judging by the feedback, it was it was just a great uplifting weekend that everyone was happy to be there. So and I was happy to be there. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. It was so great to spend so much quality time with you. I know that Claire and Carol, yes, oh my gosh, we were on the same vibe. You guys picked up my thoughts.
We just want to say it was a fabulous weekend. And when we find out the next date, people really must sign up for it. It was beautiful. It was so well done. They say that love is in the details, and it was definitely there. And everybody was happy, and everybody really enjoyed it. And we got to hug everybody and meet people that we only saw on the screen. And for us personally, the way you showcased all the people that had things for display, especially for us.
People signed up for the protocol.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and I had about 12 books went somewhere. And thankful, and I want to make sure everybody knows your part in it, Karen, because Karen was amazing. I would never have been able to publish a book without Karen. She was just led me all the way along with her love and her kindness. So thank you, Karen.
Oh, thank you.
The information was absolutely incredible. You know, as I said, this is the third one we've been to, and it just gets fuller and fuller and greater and more abundant each time with new information and new ideas. And so it's just I can't wait till the next one to see what more is going to be coming up.
And Laura Jane and Karen Hannah as well. Thank you all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So appreciate you. Thank you, both of you. Lots of love. It was such an incredible weekend. I feel that everything that I've ever done in my entire life has guided me to facilitate that weekend with Laura Jane. Yeah, incredible. Okay.
I feel the same, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so Laura Jane and I and Karen Hannah, we kind of talked about it. And so we're thinking of having another Sovereign Living in Calgary because the energy for people waking up to seeking to live in the sovereign way is really expanding. So that's very, very exciting. And so, yeah, we'll definitely have another one in Calgary. We just have to figure out a date, but yeah, that will definitely happen. So anyone that's new here, please say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Even if you're not new here, please say hello because you never know, somebody might be from your area. And it's really important for all of us to be connecting in the real. Okay, I'm gonna pass it over to Karen Hanna to present our amazing guest this evening and a powerful topic that we truly need to have. So over to you, Karen, of the family Hanna.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, we have Jerry with us tonight. He comes highly recommended. I first heard about him from one of our members. Oh, gee, it was over a year ago. And we've had such glowing reports from our members who have had an opportunity to work privately over the phone with Jerry. So Jerry was living in Alberta, but now he's living in Winnipeg. And he comes with over 30 years of experience helping people with CRA and income tax situations. So he's going to talk to us about private income tonight. And he's going to speak for about 20 minutes. Make sure you write down your questions or you have your questions ready, because he will, if you have specific questions related to what private income is all about, then he will address them. So Jerry's not able to be on camera tonight, so we're just having just have that audio. So anyway, everyone, welcome Jerry, also known as Juergen Marx. So thank you, Jerry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Juergen Marx of the family of Marx, yes, but everybody calls me Jerry. Anyway, I'm 83 years old, and I've been around the block a few times. I've not paid income tax for 35, 40 years. I figured out a long time ago, I found out from someone who steered me into this direction. And yet that same individual ended up in trouble with the CRA. And here I am, I didn't. But anyway, basically, what this is about is two things. Number one, we need to recognize and realize who we are before the judicial system, okay? Which means before the CRA, before the court system, and so on. We are actually living in two capacities. One as a live human being, the live woman, the live man, and over such, the authorities really have no jurisdiction. There is not a statute on the books that gives them jurisdiction over the live man or the live woman, okay? Number one, know this. You are also the artificial entity that they've created with a social insurance number. And that entity, which is fictitious, okay, it's like a corporation. There's nothing there unless somebody acts on its behalf. And that's where they rely on you, the living, breathing human being, to act on the behalf of the artificial, okay? The artificial entity they have jurisdiction over, and that's the entity that they tax, and that's the entity that they want people to earn as that entity, and thereby they are taxable. But when you read the Tax Act, and this is what I always point to, and my material that I send out covers a lot of that material. There is a category in the Tax Act, and you can download the Tax Act yourself if you want to take a note. Some people have trouble finding this. I'll give it to you. It's called justice.gc.ca. It's a government website. You can go on there, and they have all kinds of documents that you can download. On that website, you can download the Income Tax Act, okay? And in the Income Tax Act, there's only one thing I look for. I don't look for all the tax rules. I don't need them. I don't intend to pay taxes, so why do I go by those rules? I only look for the one rule that allows me not to pay tax. And that you will find in the definition section. Under the definitions, you will find exempt earnings or exempt income. Okay, you mark that down. That is the category that I try to fit people into, because they are exempt of taxation that way. And this is lawful Okay. And it boils right back down to some of the documents I sent out. Who are you? You are this artificial entity on the one hand, but you are also the private individual, the living, breathing human being who has rights under the Bill of Rights. And one of those rights is you have the right to life. By having the right to life, you have the right to exist and to sustain that existence. And that can happen in a variety of ways. Yes, you can choose to be a taxpayer, but no, you don't have to. You can exchange your free time, your energy, your private property is your time and your energy is your private property, your intellectual capacity. That's yours. Nobody owns it but you. You can exchange that for anything you wish with anyone else you wish. And that is a legal transaction. It is lawful under our Bill of Rights, and it is not taxable, okay? Because it doesn't constitute wages, salary, or commission. You're not an employee when you do that. You're just acting as a free sovereign entity, okay? So here it is. This is it in a nutshell. And this is what I teach. I point people to where these facts are, where you can discover them. I want people to know this stuff. I want them to understand it before they try this, because otherwise they can get themselves into trouble and they don't know how to answer CRA when they come after them. So far in my career, I have never been audited by them. I have never had any of the people that I've helped be audited or had any hassle with them, because what we're doing is according to the Income Tax Act. And they have to stick to the act just as well as we do. And when you understand this loophole, so to speak, when you understand that, they understand it. They cannot, by law, convert your private property to public property. Under the Tax Act, they deem you to be a taxpayer 3,400 times, okay? But you can refute that. You can say, no, I'm not playing that game. But if you don't, then that'll stand up in court as evidence that you have consented. It's just the way they play the game, okay? And to know this, no, you withhold your consent. I am not playing this game, okay? So anyway, this is what I have to offer in a nutshell, a way to avoid the income tax. If you are an employee for someone and earning a living, and for some people, this is absolutely necessary. They have to put bread and butter on the table for the family and so on. Well, yes, in a lot of cases, you have to be an employee, but that is for now. I would say with this knowledge, you should actively seek to change your situation, whether it takes you a year or 2 years or 3 years, to find a way that you can exchange your time and energy free of taxation, okay? Find a situation where you can do that exchange without having to pay tax. And knowing this stuff and understanding it will help you get there, okay? And I have counseled a lot of people. I have counseled people that have paid income tax for years, but they were independent, self-employed, had their own companies, and I was able to get them out of paying the corporate tax as well as the private tax, the personal tax. And some of those people have gone back 4 or 5 years now, and we've gotten their tax money back. $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, okay? They've had to pay it back because they fit this category of exempt earnings. Then the CRA has to honor the Tax Act, okay? So this is what this is all about. It's very powerful stuff if you understand it and do it right. Like I say, I've had nothing but success with this. People, 1 year the guy pays $50,000 in income tax. Next year he pays nothing, okay? Nobody hassled him. They accepted it because he filed it the way I told him to, okay? So anyway, this is what I'm about. And that's it in a nutshell. I know there will be questions. I have a raft of material that I usually send out, and I think your lead team has this information. Anyway, with that, I'll leave it open to a bunch of questions.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Could you just tell us just briefly, how did you get started doing this? What was the impetus to get you helping people or to figure it out for yourself?
Okay, like I say, it was maybe some 40 years ago. Um, a guy came to Calgary when I was living in Calgary, and his name was Boriski, and his common law wife, her name was Gould, and they taught a seminar on the natural man. Okay, and that's where I first sort of came about this straw man business, this artificial entity. Okay, and it intrigued me, and they wanted money for the course, and da 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 da. I went to a couple of their seminars. Okay, and then I looked at his webpage. He had a webpage of Natural Man, and I read all that stuff. So I learned from that. But here's this same individual charging for his course, collected GST, and got himself into trouble with the CRA. He didn't heed his own advice, and he got into trouble. Okay,
Thank you.
so that's where I got started. All right. And then I thought, well, this is good for me. But then I do believe, I believe the scriptures, I believe God's word. And that's the other thing I was looking for. I was looking for some answers to life. And in my quest, this is one of the things I discovered besides discovering God. But one of the things is to love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And that's basically what I'm trying to fulfill. Loving my neighbor as myself. If it's good for me, it's going to be good for them. And so I want to share this because I despise what our fraudulent government is doing to us. Okay. And what it's doing to people when it has driven so many people into bankruptcy, has possessed their homes, taken their possessions, frozen their bank accounts, caused people despair and grief, and even commit suicide. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Thank you,
I
Jerry. Yeah,
deeply oppose that.
thank you so much. And yeah, we so appreciate your commitment to this. And I want to tell you there was 120 people on this call tonight, and I see people still coming into the room. So you've got a lot of people here that are very interested in hearing what you have to share. And so again, we so appreciate you. And before we go ahead with the questions, I want to let you know that Jerry has agreed to teach a course for us. It's going to be on Saturday, April 13th. And we thought that it would be a good idea, a good way actually, for everyone to get together and learn from Jerry at the same time. As he mentioned, he provided us with all of his information, which we're going to be putting into a workbook and providing for the participants who sign up for the course. It's going to be 3 hours starting at 10 a.m. Mountain Time on Saturday, April 13th. And we will have the sign up page available in a few days. So we want to really respect Jerry's time as well, rather than just be inundated with hundreds of people calling him. And so that's why we thought if we could get on a call, all be learning from him at the same time. Then
Can I put something in there?
yeah, absolutely.
The crucial thing for that session will be this, that everyone has the material, first of all, has it in a binder, printed off, hard copy. Okay. Everything I've said, print it off, have a hard copy. And in the meantime, before that date, read through this material. Familiarize yourself with it. You're going to have a ton of questions. Mark it up in the margins, highlight things that interest you. And because I will be going through my binder from beginning to end, and I will highlight certain things in it. That'll be my teaching. I will refer back to hard copy facts here it is, here it is, here it is. Okay. And then you can follow it in your own. There it is. You need an answer to that? Do you have a question on that? I will clarify it. Okay. And that will teach the course to you. Then you'll know what I know. It's just that simple
Yeah.
because it's all contained in those 100 and some pages. All right.
Yeah.
So it's very crucial that you have that material and that people have had a look at it and not waste their time. And then all of a sudden, well, no, have you read this? Okay. Because I know reading, it's a hard read. It's a very boring stuff because the language is so convoluted and misleading often because you don't even know what the heck they're saying half the time because of the language that they use. But I clear that all up for you. Okay. And anyway, that's my 2 bits in there.
Yes, thank you, Jerry. And that's why we're allowing, like April 13th, it's just a little over a month away. So it will allow you lots of time to get signed up. Karen will have that web page up in a couple of days, and then she'll be sending out an email. So make sure you are signed up as a free member on LifeForce Canada. Just go to LifeForceCanada.ca. And that way you'll be on the mailing list to receive that announcement with the link for the class. And then as soon as within 24 hours of you signing up, then we'll be sending you the workbook with all of the material that Jerry has sent us. And as he said, we suggest that you print it out, put it into a binder, get that highlighter, and take time, a few minutes every day or whatever, going through it so that you are prepared for the date of the class. And also, as Jerry said, we would like then for all our members to be able to then take that information that you learned and then be able to help your friends and whatnot. Jerry also did tell us that he's been doing this for a long time. And what did you say, Jerry? You're 83. So I think
Yes.
the more ambassadors that we can have out there teaching, learning, and teaching what we learned from Jerry would be.
I'm not going to be around much longer. I can tell you that much. I can feel it in my bones. No, I have a rare disease, and it's slowly taking me down. And not to feel sorry for me, but I mean that's just a fact of life. It's a disease that's rare, 1 in 100,000. I inherited, thank you very much, from somebody, and it was dormant in me until about 6, 7 years ago. Until then, I was still very, very active. Okay, I was still in construction, doing renovations, and da 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 da. And then all of a sudden, it hit me, and I didn't know what was what. But all my ailments, my heart failure, my kidney failure, and my lack of sleeping and water retention, you name it, all my ailments stem from this disease. And there is no cure for it. There is a drug out that I tried. It's $16,000 a month. It didn't work. I had to scrap it because I felt worse than I ever felt. So I gave that up. So, like I say, I mean, my days are numbered, and I want to pass on what I know to as many people as possible. I want people to learn this stuff, know it well, and that's when you know, then you know. And that's something that they cannot take away from you. Okay, you cannot unknow this stuff once you know it, and it empowers you. It empowers you to be the sovereign individual that you really are. Okay, you're not owned by anyone. Okay, not by our government either. So you are sovereign. Okay, and so am I. You belong to God who created us, and it is Him that I worship. It is Him that I praise, and I love my fellow man, and I want to share it with him. So
Yeah, so again, as I said, we want to offer this course so that we can all be learning at the same time from Jerry, and so that he can have the time that he needs to rest and take care of his body so that he's not inundated with 100 people having individual phone conversations with him. So we just ask that you honor that. We won't be sharing his phone number or his email because we would like to, you know, go forward with this as a group. And if you choose not to take the course on the 13th of April, there will be a recording of it. Start with Frank, if you want to unmute. Just realize that we're going to have lots of questions, so if you can get right to the point and ask Jerry, explain your situation or whatever. Be really clear,
Sure.
please. Go ahead, Frank.
So thank you. So basically, it's just to ask real quick if it's possible to get a copy of those documents way ahead of time. It's a lot of documents. My son has a hockey tournament that weekend in April the 13th.
Yeah.
And I want to attend, but won't be able to. And that's pretty much tax time. So I want to make a judgment call whether I'm sending him packing or not. I would love to read that material beforehand if that's at all any possible. And with that, I yield. Thank you.
Well,
He'll
you're sending this
sign up.
material out in the next day or two, right?
Yeah, so he'll sign
There you
up.
go.
We'll send him the information. He can
Send in the package. Yeah. Okay.
And again, there's not going to be any urgency to file by the end of April, right? Because he's going to know what to do. So whether he does it by files on April 30th or after, is that going to make a difference, Jerry?
No, as long as he has the information and then rather do it in a group, yes.
But certainly if we can get up to speed by learning
yeah.
not together.
Hi, Jerry. Thank you for being here. I have a question, but before I ask the question, I just want to say you mentioned about your conditions, your health condition. It's very sorry, but have you ever tried homeopathy?
No. Doctors say
Okay.
nothing helps, so I've resolved myself to my situation. I'm okay. Thank you very much. I mean, I have a daughter who's an acupuncturist, and I'm on herbs and all kinds of different stuff. So it's not like we haven't looked at different alternatives, but it is what it is, and so far.
Well, I wouldn't be so reluctant to use homeopathy. There's at least three homeopaths on this call, I know, and we're never afraid of uncurable diseases because that's actually very miracle. You know what the homeopathy uses? All kings and queens of our
okay.
royal countries they're using. So you deserve the royal treatment. Absolutely.
Thank you. If you think you have something that'll help me, yes, you can contact me, and then we'll see if how we can. I'm open. Don't get me wrong. Okay.
I absolutely.
Thank you.
I have a question. Yeah, we can talk about this later, and with three of us here. You mentioned in the beginning of your call, you mentioned that the people you discovered sovereignty and people who do the income tax or not to do income tax and not paying income tax, they have to realize that they sovereign. Are those people, you suggest them to go through any protocol or procedures? They have to declare themselves free from corporate, or we call it free themselves from the strawman before they file income tax that way, or not to file income tax, or it just spiritually we have to recognize that we are free and we can do whatever
No,
it's
my material teaches simply who you are. You are in two capacities before our legal system. You have the capacity of the artificial entity with the social insurance number, and you also have the capacity as a living, breathing human being. You have both. And our Supreme Court ruling, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the country, says you can step out of one capacity into the other at will at any time you wish. So thereby you can choose either one, as long as what you choose is lawful. And what I say people should choose is lawful, because I use the Tax Act, which is what the income tax people have to use. I use the same tools that they do, and I turn it on them. And I've had, like I say, I've had nothing but success with it. I haven't had an audit on any of my people that have, and they've gotten money back. Okay. So, I mean, they've done it the way I recommend they do it. And this is, again, when I go through the material, I specifically point out what you must do. Okay. So, no, you have that choice. You have the right to that choice. Okay. And people don't understand that they have this right under the Bill of Rights. Okay. And we are indeed a sovereign individual. Okay. And most people don't know what that means or how to empower themselves. And that's unfortunate. But we're a group like yours, you're teaching that kind of stuff. Okay. And this is all part of that. This is very much a part of that. Okay. I hope
Okay,
that's
thank you
answered your
so
question.
much.
Okay.
Okay, we've got Joel.
Hey, thank you so much, Jerry. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Jerry, I think I've read some of your material in the past because it sounds very familiar. I kind of give you a quick overview of my situation. I work in fire protection services, so I do inspections of businesses
Yeah.
that are government regulated. So it's a regulated industry, but in only so many ways. So my family owns a company. I'm an employee, so I don't get much tax benefits that way. But I've been in works with them trying to see if I could set up my own corporation, or maybe if I might not even have to go that far as maybe just a sole proprietor. And then they will pay me for my services in a contract.
Yeah.
And then I could write an agreement between myself, the man,
Yeah.
with my company and say, I agree in the private to receive exchange for my labor or earnings.
Exactly. That's
product.
how it works. That's
And is
exactly
that
how it works. Yeah,
so? The only thing
exactly.
they've come across was their accountant is like, well, he has to have this and he has to have that and he has to have
Fire the
like
accountant. All he
that's
does
what
is make you pay
yeah,
taxes.
he has to have like workers' compensation insurance or you're gonna have to pay it. And I said, yeah.
You're not the first one that is incorporated or works for a company that a private, I mean, you can hire yourself under a contract for hire. This is one of the documents that I send out as part of my package. Okay. You can work under a contract for hire for anyone, even for your own company that you own. Okay. And your company can then pay you all the profits it makes, pays you in management consulting fees. Now the company pays no tax, and you you are earning this in the private. Now you pay no tax. Bingo, there you go. You can still have your workers' compensation. You can still have all the benefits of a corporation if that's what you require to get your work done. Okay, you can still be there. So anyway,
So a lot of the arm's length rules we hear from our accountants probably doesn't apply because they just
they don't know what I know.
Yeah, okay,
Or
I
at
get it.
least
That's
they
why
won't look at it.
they're used
Okay.
to just cookie cutter stuff. Yeah, I get it.
They don't even look at this. I mean, I've tried to talk to accountants about this exempt earnings, for example. They won't even go there. They won't even read the Income Tax Act and see what it says. Well,
I guess
then you can't help them.
they want to keep their job. I guess they don't want you to know.
Precisely. Okay, so I have no patience for those guys. Okay, sorry.
Well, I appreciate it, Jerry.
Okay.
Continue
Welcome,
on. Thank
Joel.
you.
Joel,
Okay.
just make sure that you're signed up as a member on the LifeForce Canada website, and then we'll send that email later this week with the link, and you can sign up for the course, and then
I
yeah.
am a member of LifeForce Canada, so I think
Great.
I usually get all your Zoom emails and stuff like that too as well.
Awesome. The next one I have is Anoma.
Thank you, Jerry, for your generosity and making yourself available to us all. It's very kind of you to do that. My question is, will your package include some specifics for a farmer?
Yep.
Yes? Oh.
I can go through that again. You see, I will. Let me just give you a brief rundown. On your T1 general form that you file your taxes on, okay, and you must file. You should. And if you are a farmer, you can declare your income and livelihood as a farmer into the category of private business, farming, logging, fishing, whatever, okay, or a corporation or a private enterprise, whatever. On page C of your T1 General, that's exactly where you would do that. But the thing is, your farm, if it's in your name, is private property, and whatever it earns you is your private property, and you don't have to declare that on the income tax form if you don't want to. If you want to declare it, you can, and you pay the tax, but you don't have to, is what I'm telling you. Okay? This is the beauty of this. To know what your rights are. This is your private property. Just because the Income Tax Act deems you to be a public officer for the Crown, 3,400 times they do that in the Income Tax Act. I only need to refute this one time and say, no, I'm not. That's it. Okay? I am a sovereign individual. I am Juergen of the family of Marx, and you have no claim on me. Bingo. This is my farm, my income. I can do with it as I please. It's private property. Go get lost. End of story. Anyway, that's that's how I deal with that.
Jerry,
Thank you very
Jerry, would you suggest that also in preparation for the class that everyone picks up a package, a tax package, like not a digital you're gonna
No,
doing
hard
it on
copy.
paper,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, paper copy. That'd be good.
So would that be at the post office, or where do you get them nowadays?
You
other than
can contact CRA and they'll send it to you.
Yeah, if you want it.
Because every province is different. So if you have different jurisdictions, then you get a different package, okay? They're similar, but not necessarily always the same. Every province has their own little quirks, and that's all right. But overall, the basic flow and content of it is the same. In your tax package, when you get the whole 9 yards, you get the booklet that goes with it. And in that booklet, every line that you have to fill in is explained. So when you read it carefully, you can actually fill in the T1 General quite without help. If you read and understand, and if you have a problem, you can contact CRA, they'll clear it up for you. They're actually not bad that way. They're there to help you actually. So anyway, yeah, no, that'd be good for anyone who to have that, because you got to file for this year anyway. I mean, I don't know how you do that. I don't believe in digital filing. I believe in filing on paper and have a copy of it in hand. Okay, because that way I don't have to remember what was filed or what was said. I have it right here. Bingo, that's it. Okay, I can look it up.
Thank you. So we'll be including that in the email, then a reminder to
Sure.
get a hold of the tax package for your particular province, so that you'll have that on hand and can be looking at it when we go through it on the course. So, okay, who else got a question? We've got Colombo.
Hey, Jerry, I'll be glad to join you in your course when it comes up. And I have a question relating to an objection that I made 14 years ago with CRA regarding a donation that I made. They approved my objection, and 14 years later, they came back to me and said, we're now disapproving your donation, and we're looking for payment. Is there not a statute of limitations on these things?
That I'm not sure. I mean, the thing is this, the CRA can make their own rules as they go, unfortunately, because they're a fraudulent outfit to begin with. And they have an army of guys that walk around with guns called the RCMP to enforce whatever they want. So really, it's hard to argue with a guy carrying a gun. You know what I mean? So if they say so, they say so. But normally speaking, we as taxpayers, if we have a tax that we felt 8-9 years ago, I made a mistake there. I shouldn't have had to pay that much. I can go back and refile my taxes. I think I can go back 10 years. Okay, so do they have more latitude than that? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not a tax expert in that regard where I know all the rules. Okay, I don't. I just know how to avoid them where I can. So I don't know if I can really be of any help to you there, Colombo.
All right, good. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
Thank you. We've got Virginia with her hand up.
Hi, I wanted to ask, when you're speaking of this tax package, are you speaking of what we used to be able to pick up from the post office before
Yep.
they,
Yep.
that
Yes.
one? Yeah, and it can also print it off online.
Well, yeah, if you print it off, you have a hard copy, but you got to print off 2 copies so you can mail one in and keep one for yourself.
Yes, very true. I've
I
been
don't
doing
like
my-
I don't like this. I personally don't like this online filing because things get lost in cyberspace, and then the CRA can play games with that and do whatever. No, if you have a hard copy and you know you send a hard copy registered mail, if it's really tricky and dicey, then you send it registered mail. Make sure they get it. You have a copy of it, then you can't argue with that. And that way,
Yeah,
if you ever pull in someone else to help you with this, then you know, they don't have to remember he said, they said, I said, you said. No, here it is on paper. This is what was corresponded, and that's it. Okay.
I've
Because
been filing my own taxes for 40 some years
Mhm.
on paper when I had to, but I do a combination now. I do use their thing, but I also like to have it on paper, so I put it on paper for me because but it's fast to put it in through the net file. And so I do like that part, and it doesn't cost postage.
well, yeah.
So, but
No, I mean,
I'm looking forward to knowing what you know, because it sounds like I've dealt with them on things they said I couldn't do, or accountants said I couldn't do. And I would
yeah.
just read the interpretation bulletins and I would specify and quote, and they would just back right off because I was quoting exactly their laws, and they'd leave me alone.
Exactly. That's what they have to obey their own rules. Yes,
Yeah.
completely. No, I mean that's a wise move. Like I say, I feel better having a hard copy and having sent a hard copy. But if you feel fine with e-filing, as long as you have a hard copy, you can back up what you're claiming at least, you know. And um, there's a few other little tricks involved which I can go over when we do the teaching session. Okay, I mean how to avoid certain things with them because they can be very, very ruthless. Okay, they can close your bank account. They can garnish your wages. They can do all kinds of stupid stuff. Okay.
Yeah, they can.
And you want to avoid that possibility as much as you can. I recommend to everyone, open a bank account without a social insurance number. Okay? And that is easily done. My daughter did it online. She applied to the CIBC for a bank card. She wanted to open an account, so she applied online. And a week later, they phoned her and said her bank card was ready to pick up at the bank. So she said, "Okay, thank you, I'll be there." And then she asked if there was a social insurance number attached to it. She said, "No, you didn't give us one." That's right. You don't have to. Okay.
Well, that's good sound counsel. Thank you for that.
Yes, because the thing is this: if they're going to come after you to garnish your wages or want to freeze your bank account, they have to make sure that it's the Virginia that they're after, and not some other Virginia Lehigh. There could be 10 of you. Okay, and each one would have a different number. Then the only way to identify that account properly is with a social insurance number. And if they don't have it, they can't do it. Boom, that's it. Okay.
Very good to know. Thank you for that. I look forward to your course. I wouldn't miss it.
Okay. I love this. I like getting them back.
Oh, we'll help you get them back, Jerry. Okay, I'm going to go into a few of the questions in the chat. Mark has asked about rental income and dividend income.
Okay, first of all, dividend income is taxable because it's in our corporation that made profit that pays out dividends. So thereby the dividends are declared as part of the shareholders' dividends. Okay, I mean you are a shareholder, you're taxable, and thereby the dividends are taxable. Okay, fine. Rental income, if it's in your own private property, if the name is in your own if the property is in your own name, I don't declare it as income. Period. Boom. It's none of their business. It's mine. And I have people who are doing that, and they've had no trouble. Well, again, Melanie, you have something about interest income. Well, interest income is taxable because, again, interest is earned in the tax regime. Okay, if you have shares or you have a loan or you have money in the credit union, you earn interest there. Well, that interest then is taxable. Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay, next question. Is it correct that unless you can be situated as a private contractor with a company instead of an employee with a company, that this process cannot apply? Are you still exchanging your private property, your labor, or fiat and benefits, even if as an employee of the private company?
Well, if you're an employee with a social insurance number, you're consenting to be taxed. I'm sorry. That's just the way they have it rigged. Okay. There's nothing you can do there. If your employer will hire you on a work for hire contract under a private deal between you and them, you provide a service, they give you the remuneration, no deductions are done. It's a transaction between you and them. That's private. That is not taxable. Okay. But if you are an employee with the social insurance number, then yes, you do.
Thank you. And yeah, again, we want you to be prepared if you're in that kind of a situation. We want you to be as prepared as possible so that you can work on that contract for hire and setting that up with an employer. And Laura Jane's had experience with that. And again, Jerry knows a lot about it as well. So I think you're going to get some good advice on
Okay.
how to move forward and make that work for your situation. So next question, if one is employed, the employer deducts the income tax. Can the tax that was deducted be recovered? And how do we avoid paying property taxes? Is it possible?
Okay, the income tax that is deducted from you, well, then when you file at the end of the year, depending on what your deductions are, if you have other certain exemptions, maybe they may have to adjust that tax, but it is taxable if it comes off your paycheck, yes, because you are now an employee consenting to be taxed. As far as property tax is concerned, that's a different jurisdiction completely. It usually has to do with municipalities, towns, or cities. And yes, they have the right to tax you property tax, unless you have a colonial title, which most people don't even know what that is. And that is a whole new rabbit hole to go down. Okay. And that's completely, I haven't gone there. I know people who have, and I know people who have avoided property tax because they ended up getting a colonial title on their farm and thereby not paying any tax. Okay, there is that possibility. That's something you have to research yourself. You can look it up. Do some snooping on the internet. Go and look. The internet is full of stuff if you know where to start digging. And sometimes it's amazing what you find when you start digging. Okay. So anyway, that's my advice on that.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing that up, Jerry. And we will be covering alloidal title and having experts on to talk about that on
There you go.
So thank you. Next one, I've heard that even if you work for someone, you can ask them to fill out a form and that you will collect your own taxes.
That you will pay your own taxes. I don't know. The thing is this, if you are working for someone, they are by the CRA committed to deduct. Okay. Whether a letter would get you off the hook or not, I have my doubts. What will get you off the hook is a work for hire contract. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the way to go.
Thank you. If you're an employee for a company or a government department, public servant, can the income they pay you be considered private?
If you're an employee, you're taxable. Sorry. No, it's not private property then. It is now in the public domain. You are now deemed to be a public officer, okay? Working for the crown is really well, how they call it when you read the Income Tax Act, okay? And those portions of Income Tax Act that I send out, those 20 pages and the 78 pages, those two documents, they cover all that, okay? And I highlight that when I go through that, okay? You're an employee or you're working on a private contract.
Thank you, Jerry. What about pensions? Do we get them if we're not paying for CPP? I'm not there yet, but have to think about it.
Well, I'm a pensioner. I get old age security kind of pension. I declare it as income. I'm obviously over 65 years old, so I get my exemptions are basically 14,000 plus my old age exemption. Once you hit 65, you also get an old age exemption of another 7 or so. So now you're over $21,000 that you can earn before you would pay tax. And what I get from Canada Pension Old Age Security doesn't get there. So thereby I declare it, but I don't pay no tax on it, okay, because it hits below the threshold, okay. But yes, Canada Pension, Old Age Security are taxable.
So many good comments, so clear and excellent. I think many of us adore you. If I've declared rental income for 2 decades and suddenly stop, won't that raise a bunch of red flags?
Well, here's this. I know of people who've paid taxes for years, and all of a sudden they say they made a mistake and they get their taxes back, okay? So if you have come across new information, then you come across new information that changes things, and then you change things, and that's it. That's that. Boom. And this again, when we do our tax filing, I usually include a tax filing letter. It's just a brief little paragraph. And if you're doing a revised one, I send out the revised tax filing and simply lets you know that you have exchanged your private property for a monetary reward, and that this does not constitute wages, salary, or commission. So thereby it's not taxable. This little paragraph attached to your T1 submittance clears it up for them. They now know what you're doing. That's it. And if the year before you paid and now you don't, well, that's fine. You have new information. Thereby you don't. Okay.
Thank you, Jerry. Marilyn?
Thank you so much, Jerry. I so appreciate what you're doing and providing for us here. So I had a question about the tax. I am collecting OAP, CPP, but I also lived in the US. And so I'm also now collecting a pension from them. And so that is automatically deposited. So, and then last year they nailed me because I guess I must have gone over their threshold. So now they're taxing me on the US income. If I don't file, can they withhold those payments?
Well, if you don't file, then you're opening yourself up to a whole lot of trouble with them guys. I would say play clean with them, do your part, do your filing, stay clean, pay the bills if you have to. If that income from the States is taxable, then it's taxable, okay? I don't see, unless you don't receive it, then of course you can't tax it, but then you don't get the benefit either. So there is no middle ground. It's either black or it's white. There's no gray. Okay. I mean, if you are taxable, you are taxable. And if you're not, you're not. Some things like that government income or that pension from the States is a taxable item. Okay. I know people who get pensions from other countries, and that is also taxable. Okay. Unfortunately, yes, that's how it is.
Okay, yeah, so if I was to file it, I should have asked it more in a different way. So if I file 0, like I know you have to file, the problem is not filing.
But
Yeah.
if I file, I was told by somebody else, put the amount of income that you have, but at the bottom, you just put 0.
Mhm.
And
Well,
so
the
if
thing
I
is
do,
this, depending on what type of income, you see, the thing is this, when you go through your T1 general form, um, there are, all the different slots. If you have a T4, that has to report it on this line. A T5 has to report it on that line. T5A on this line. Dividends on that line. Okay, you have different lines that you report your income on. Okay, and wherever you get a T-slip for, of any kind, that has to be declared on your T1 general, all right, as
yeah,
income. And if there is no T-slip, then you don't report it. You don't even mention it. Okay.
okay, because I didn't get a T-slip. I wouldn't have gotten a T-slip. I got a summary from the US, but not a T-slip. So if I reported it last year and I don't report it this year, is that going to be a red flag, do you think?
It may or may not be. I don't know. I mean, it's worth a try.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell you that I know this now. Okay, I'm not an
yeah.
expert in everything. I'm not. But what I would do, I would try not to report that. If you don't get a slip, then I don't know how they would know. And what you can also do, you can open a separate bank account, put that money, have it transferred into that account without a social insurance number.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, I
Okay,
mean,
perfect.
that would be the way I would try to play the game.
Pardon me?
That's the way I would try to play the game.
All right. Perfect. Oh, I completely forgot that. I didn't have a T-slip. So yeah. Anyway, thank you. Bless you.
Okay. All right.
The next question in the chat, what if you're a distributor for Avon products?
Yeah. What kind of a deal do you have with Avon or any of the, or Amway or any of those kind of groups? Okay. What is your arrangement with them? That's what you have to look at. Is it a private contract or is it a contract of employment? Okay. Do they do deductions for you and remit them? If they don't, then it's a private contract, and you can even make it a private contract. And there you go. That's it. You don't declare it.
Never declared them.
Does
What
that
is
make
it?
sense?
Yeah. What if you're a health practitioner in private practice, but regulated and covered under extended health programs?
You don't have to have a business number as a private practitioner. I have a daughter who's an acupuncturist. Okay. I told her, don't be incorporated, don't have a business number, don't have a GST number. You don't need them. They don't pay you to collect a GST for them. So why would you bother doing that? Just to be nice? No.
So true.
Okay, no, thank you. No. No, you don't need that. If you're a private practitioner and you bill your client directly or even through an insurance, okay, they pay you, either the insurance company pays you or they pay you, okay, and that's it. That's a private transaction. It's not declarable income because you're not an employee of anyone.
What about YouTube income? Can this be declared as private income?
YouTube,
Yeah, for advertising,
that's your own
income.
private business.
Okay.
You're not as long as you don't register as a business, then they have no claim on it. A lot of people get foolish and they want to be in business. Okay, so I got to be incorporated, or I got to register as a business, I got to have a business license. No, you don't. Okay, stay out of the game completely. The less they know, the better. Then they can't get you. Okay, if they don't know, it don't hurt them. It's when they think they know something, that's when they'll come after you. If but no, I just wouldn't. I
If a
would not.
person is in a profession regulated by the Health Professions Act, where they have to be regulated by a college, can they be exempt?
These professional corporations they file their business under on page 3 of the T1 General, right? Professional corporation, business income, farming income, that's all in those categories there. Well, you can be a professional corporation, and that corporation can pay you a management consulting fee and not make any profit. So thereby the corporation pays no tax, and you take it out in the private and you pay no tax. Bingo.
Thank you. What about spousal support? Do I need to report that?
Well, you can report it. I mean, yeah, then your spouse has to declare it. I don't know.
Lori's next.
Lori.
Thank you, Karen and Laura Jane and everybody. And thank you very much, Jerry, for all your information. I just have a question. I can't remember who it was that was talking about the Social Security or your social insurance number that you apply at a bank for. If you've
Yeah.
already done that, can you like open an account at the same bank without one, or can you like take it off there, or do you
Well,
know?
the thing is this, here's my take on it. And I have 3 different bank accounts without a social insurance number. Okay. I mean, I just go to a different bank and open an account there, and that's it. And that's the end of it. Because I don't trust the banks either. 'Cause
Yeah, well,
they're-
that's it. I just opened an account at a credit union, and that's why I quite like them. So, but I
Yeah,
did give them my social insurance number.
Of course you do, because the credit union, you have to pay interest because they declare dividends. And you are now a member of a credit union, so you get dividends, and the dividends have to be declared as income. And for that, you need a social insurance number. Bingo. Credit unions are nice, yes, but I canceled mine a long time ago because of the social insurance number. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you think one of the big banks just go to a big bank and don't declare your social insurance number?
Yeah,
That's your
just don't give
advice?
it to them. If they ask for it, just tell them you don't need it, and they go on and they fill in the rest of the form. They don't need it. It's not mandatory that they have your social insurance number. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Virginia, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to ask a question about the work for hire, Jerry.
Yeah.
I know the government has a interpretation bulletin that they determine whether they're an employee or a contractor based on whether they use their own tools, et cetera, et cetera. Is there a work for hire form that precludes or eliminates that?
Yes, of course. Here's this, Virginia. They will concoct any kind of a rule to get you. Okay. And they will say you have to have this. If this is the case, and this is that. Da, 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 da. Here is this. It's that simple. What is yours is yours. It's private. You make a deal with someone else to provide a service, whether they provide the tools in the vehicle or you provide them. That is between you and them. It's a private deal. And in the private, you pay no tax. Okay, you just don't declare that. They can come along and say, well, no, it doesn't apply because it's private. It's my deal with that other party, and that is my right under the Bill of Rights. And you have no right, and you can tell them this, that the CRA has no right to convert your private property to public and thereby make it taxable. They have no right to do that. It forbids them to do that, even right in the Tax Act. And I can show it to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And one more question, any pension that is provided by or has a T number attached to it must be reported.
Yes.
Even if it's a private pension that came from an ex-husband?
Yes.
Okay, just clarifying. Thank you very much.
The reason for that, Virginia, is simply this. Most of those kind of pension benefits, when they are paid into a pension fund, that portion of money that goes into the fund gets deducted from the income, so thereby it's not taxed. So then they'll try to tax you when you collect it finally. That's why that is taxable. Okay.
I see. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Thank you. And thank you so much, everybody. So if somebody has registered for the GST, can you unregister for the GST, or once you've done it, is that it forever?
You can cancel it anytime you want. I used to be incorporated and I decided to give that all up. I had employees. And at the time, and this is going back quite a few years, at the time they were getting $20 an hour. And I paid them holiday pay 10% because of the statutory holidays as well as the 4%. I paid them what I would have to pay for workers' compensation. I paid them what I would have to pay for unemployment insurance. I paid them what I would have to pay for CPP. I paid them all those benefits on top of their wage. Their wage now became $25 an hour. I says, fellas, you're on your own. I'm no longer doing the deducting and the remitting. You're on your own. What you do with it is up to you. And that was the end of that. And then I phoned the CRA and I told them, I says, I want to be out of business. I want to cancel my business number. I want to cancel my GST number. Oh, you can't do that. You still, I can't do that. I will do that. Cancel it. They canceled it. It's just that simple. Okay. I mean, you don't have to be their slave if you don't want to. You only are if you consent to being that. Remember, you can withdraw your consent anytime. You have that right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Juergen. I have another question. I'm behind a couple years on my taxes, and I had asked my accountant to ask CRA for an extension. This was probably a year and a half ago, and they would not give me an extension. They said I had to file my taxes in like 3 weeks, and I was like, I can't do it in 3 weeks. And now it's like a year and a half later, and I think they were threatening some really big penalties for being late. And I've just been dreading it, and I'm just haven't been, you know what I mean? I've been like dragging my feet over it. I haven't done anything, and I'm just been feeling really badly about it. And I've been really afraid about what they could do to me for being late.
Well, unless I know more details about your personal situation, I mean, I'm not quite sure exactly what you're getting at, but I've had people too that are way behind and they're coming after him, and this is phone the CRA, tell them you're working on it. You'll have an answer for them within 2 weeks. We did a refile for them, okay, because they qualified to refile, and they got their money back. Okay, instead of having to owe them $30,000, they got $21,000 back for 3 years of taxes. Okay, so they will cut you some slack if you tell them, I'm working on it, I'll have it for you. As long as you see that you're doing something, that's fine. Okay. I mean, sometimes they play hard nose, and then you say, well, whatever. Again, make sure you have a bank account with all the social insurance number, because that way they can't jump on your bank account.
Yeah, because they will freeze it.
Okay, well, that's good, because I've just been really quite down about it. The whole thing, like every time I get any kind of communication from CRA, it makes my heart rate just, go up. And I've just been really kind of feeling very bogged down and paralyzed because I'm so far behind.
Jacqueline, may I suggest you come on our private member calls on Tuesday? We'll help to give you some information there and remind you that you're the creditor and not the debtor. So we are here to support you in that journey. I want to go on because we've got some more hands up, and we're going to end the call in a few minutes. So we've got Kate, and then we've got Dee.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Jerry, I just want to get back to GST. I might actually have two questions, but so 6 years ago, I took on receiving commercial rent, and I was told I had to collect the GST. So I got a GST number. So are you suggesting I can cancel that GST number and I can go to the tenant and say, take care of your own GST?
Hang on a minute. Who owns the property?
I own it.
You personally?
Yes.
Okay, just cancel your GST number. You're not in business. You're just doing this as a private transaction between your renter and you, and nobody else.
Okay. Then I know we're dealing with income tax, but I wondered if probate tax, when it is applied, and in BC it's 1.4% of someone's estate assets. Is there any protection of that in what you're speaking of? It's a little out there, but
I'm not familiar with that. I wouldn't want to say one way or the other. And again, I hate to say go and see an accountant, but
yeah.
They understand some of those rulings where I don't, because I've never looked at those rulings. I was never interested in those rulings. I'm still not interested in those rulings. You know, I mean, if I have a property that I want to pass on to my kids, I'll do it while I'm of sound mind.
Do a trust.
And just give it to them as a gift, and that's the end of it. And there's nothing they can do. It's a private transaction or a private dealing between my offspring and me, and that's it. Okay. So, but if you're going to wait until somebody dies, well, yeah, that's when the vultures come in. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Thanks
Okay.
very much.
All right.
So we've got Dee and then Esther.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Juergen. Just a quick question. Your daughter, when she opened up her bank account without the SIN, what identification do you know that she used?
Well, driver's license.
Driver's license, eh? Okay.
Oh, that's usually some government document, of course. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is this: she did this over the phone. Okay.
Oh, so she must have uploaded her ID then.
Well, she must have just given him her driver's license number.
Yeah,
Is what I would
exactly.
is what I would assume. Okay, because I mean they need to know, and she may have even had to show it when she went and picked up a card. I don't know those details, but all I'm saying is that they never asked for a social insurance number, so she didn't give them one, and that was that. Now, I had here a comment earlier of someone who says all the big banks have my social insurance number. Well, if they do, open a new account and without the number, okay, and then make sure that there is no social insurance number on that account, okay,
Right.
and if you have a lot of money that you're afraid of losing, then open an offshore account.
Right. So, because I went to the ATB and I went to open an account and I did use my driver's license,
Yeah.
but they asked me, they didn't ask me for my SIN, but then the computer would not open the account or accept the account. It was a non-interest bearing checking account. And the lady kept saying, it's not accepting it. They're asking me for your SIN. So then I ended up giving the SIN.
No, then that's wrong. You shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a non-interest bearing, if it's just a straight checking account, it does only if it's if it's an interest bearing account, then you have to give your number because interest is taxable. Okay, but if it's not interest bearing, then they don't need it, and you can tell the clerk that. And if the clerk doesn't agree with you, then you go to the supervisor and say, "Look, I'm sorry. This is my right not to give you this." Okay.
Yeah,
And if
I
not,
learned
then
too late.
yeah, no, I mean that's I have an account with ATV. When I went to them years ago, my wife and I joint account, no interest bearing. Okay, just your social insurance. No, thank you. You don't need it. Okay, fine, thank you. That was that. End of story. Okay. Anyway.
Let's get some
Thank
people to try that out, open up a new account, and they can report back what happens and what bank it was and whether they did it online or whatever. Okay, we've got Esther, and then we're going to Karen is going to wrap the call up for us.
Thank you so much for all of this, Jerry. Fantastic, wonderful, all of you team for continuing to bring us amazing, phenomenal info. Two quick questions. One is, if I'm going to, I have all my bank accounts right now in the Royal Bank. Should I go to a different bank to set up an account without the social insurance number, or can I still do it within the Royal Bank, because it just makes things easier to transfer back and forth? But if I shouldn't, then I won't. That's the first question.
I would recommend take the trouble and open a new account with a different bank without the number. Okay?
Got it. Yep.
And that way, there's no way that they can fudge it. All right.
Great. Okay, fantastic. The second question is, do you know anybody who is an accountant in BC that you would recommend to help us through the transition to make sure that as we stop doing this, unregister different things, etc. And I know we're going to be doing this in LifeForce Canada step by step, but is there an accountant you would trust in British Columbia that you would
Nope.
recommend?
Nope. No, I'll tell you what. If you want to wind up things and get out of the corporate rat race, so to speak,
Hell yeah.
okay, fine. All you need to do, every year, all corporations have to register and renew their registration.
Yep.
You stop doing that and your company will fold as far as they are concerned. Okay, number one. Number two, you phone the CRA and tell them you are no longer in business. You just tell them that you wish to cancel your business number. That's all you have to do. You don't need an accountant to help you with that.
Okay.
In fact, fire the son of a gun, because all he does is make you pay taxes.
Right, but if we have, so along that line, then if we have a website, let's just say, that has been associated with that business and that website still stays live.
So what? That's
Okay.
your private property.
Yeah, it sure is. Thank you.
Okay. No, I wouldn't worry about that.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Just a reminder that Jerry will be teaching a 3-hour course on Saturday, April 13th. We'll be sending out an email about that later this week. You'll be receiving all kinds of handouts, workbook to study and that sort of thing prior to the class. So that will help you as well. So, okay, over to Karen.
Jerry, this has been exceptional. We are so grateful that you were able to come on the call this evening. For all of us, yes, Bill. When we put our hands in the air, we're clapping for Jerry. Juergen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Karen Hannah, fantastic as well. Appreciate you. Brilliant job. Jerry, are you open to us sending you some healing energy?
Yes, always, always.
Oh, good. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to just have a brief meditation. So if everyone can just close their eyes and just breathe in some life force energy, just breathing into the count of 5 and breathing out to the count of 5. When we send positive energy, it's like a ripple effect that not only uplifts the man or woman receiving it, but also creates a positive impact on our own well-being. And by directing our thoughts and our emotions towards others in a really positive way, we cultivate our own divine mind and we attract more joy into our lives. So again, by focusing our highest thoughts and seeing the best possible outcome for others, we actually are sending divine medicine that can profoundly transform another's life experience. So let's all just take a moment and we're going to send healing energy to Jerry. So just place your focus on your heart. You can do this by placing your hand on your heart and you just take a deep breath in, filling your heart with love. And as you fill your heart with love, you're filling it with life force energy. And again, this life force energy is your divine medicine that you can send out to anyone. And so we're now just going to place our intention and our attention on this amazing and brilliant man. We're going to be creating the highest thoughts possible. And we're just going to send our love, our divine medicine to heal Jerry on all levels. We're going to be transmitting this beautiful high vibrational thoughts like water rippling out from us. And we're just sending this ripple this ripples of love. It's like you're just transmitting this beautiful energy out to Jerry. And because we're all one, we're all connected, we're just going to say to ourselves, I am love. I am healthy. I am whole. I am complete. I'm radiating love. I'm radiating positivity. I'm radiating out these beautiful healing energies now. And Jerry is open to receiving your love. And just know he's receiving your love now. He's receiving your love and your beautiful healing thoughts on all levels. He's receiving your beautiful love mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And we're just going to keep sending and radiating this love from our heart out to Jerry. And just saying, I love you. I am love. The I am. The I am speaks to all. And just see Jerry being enveloped with this beautiful protective energy, this beautiful supportive energy. And Jerry, we're holding you in the highest light. We're seeing you healed. We're seeing you happy and full of joy. We're seeing you healthy. We're sending our gratitude, our love, and appreciation to you. And so it is. And we can all open our eyes. Thank you again, Jerry and Karen. And yes, I will definitely be creating this course this week and sending out the email for everyone to sign up and spend some beautiful quality time with Jerry in April. Thank you again for all of you for being here. We so appreciate you being on this amazing journey with us. We are growing. It is so exciting. My heart is full. Together we rise, everyone.
Blessings on us all. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank